50,000 सब्सक्राइबर्स हो गए. Now on to 75. मैं रुकने वाली तो हूँ नहीं, तो जो लाल रंग का सब्सक्राइब बटन है उस पर क्लिक करें and that bell icon next to it. जैसे ही नया रिव्यू आएगा सबसे पहली नोटिफिकेशन will come to you only यार. My soul is underwhelmed. My ears are overwhelmed. Every inch of my being is stimulated. You're not bored, but are you moved? Is drowning in noise the same as immersive experience? Hey y'all, my name is Acharita, this is my channel, you're watching a movie review and right now I am talking about Brahmastra Part 1 Shiva. Ranbir Kapoor is Shiva, whose origin story the movie is most concerned with. He is a small-time DJ who plays at religious events and private parties. When not quite literally dancing to his own beat, he is Arun Bhaiya from Mr. India and he lives in an orphanage with young children he provides for. Hat tip number 1. Enter Isha, whose purpose seems to be to propel Shiva into action onto the path of his destiny and realize his true potential. I, like so many of us here, am a card-carrying member of both Alia Bhatt and Ranbir Kapoor fan clubs. Alia manages to morph seemingly effortlessly in and out of characters with each role, like the story was written about her own life. You're convinced she's the rich, spoilt girl IRL from Student of the Year until you watch her in Highway, Udta Punjab, all the way down to Darlings, a gifted actor if there ever was one. In Brahmastra though, she's tragically reduced to a damsel in distress with zero agency. Her acting performance doesn't feel like her own and the lack of chemistry with Ranbir Kapoor is just weird. But Ranbir Kapoor's appeal, to me, lies in his refusal to commit to an archetype, the lack of pattern in his character choices, and steadfast subversion of the Hindi film hero stereotype. Some of his best acting work, in my opinion, Bombay Velvet, Jaga Jasoos, Rockstar, saw him play characters who, like the rest of us, were learning to fend for themselves in a world they felt isolated and abandoned in. Or like Ae Dil Hai Mushkil, Tamasha, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, they were men gradually realizing the world will bend to their will because that's how it's structured, but only to a certain extent. After a point, they will have to mend their ways, give in, shed the traditional ideas of masculinity among other ways of life before it consumes them whole without letting the self-discovery be complete. Even in Sanju, a film I am not a fan of, he was a man born into every imaginable privilege possible, which ironically contributes to his downfall. All of this suddenly seems to have changed. In Shamshera, both characters played by Ranbir, the titular Shamshera, and the one with the actual screen time Balli, are simply put leaders. While one is already introduced to us as a man of action, the other steps one foot onto the unavoidable path he has to tread and instantaneously transforms into a Moses, parting seas upon seas for his followers. In short, it's weak character development. It is the Hindi film hero stereotype. Now, after that rather indulgent detour, coming back to Shiva in Brahmastra.
Shiva, तुम्हारा हाथ?
ईशा, मैं आग से जलता नहीं.
Shiva seems to be doing well for himself, but we are told that he is a leader because he doesn't go into these gigs where he's a DJ alone. He has two friends / lackeys who exist to make him look bigger and smarter. I say this because any trace of these two vanishes right as Shiva meets Isha and she takes their place as the enabler. Her own sister and brother we met up front and never mentioned again. Everyone at the chawl Shiva lives in worships the ground he walks on, and aside from him not being rich, his life isn't hard. Isha falls for him easily. When hardship does arrive, even before he's had a chance to train for what lies ahead, Shiva is still very much a hero, a protector. He seems to know what he's doing. A note of justifiable angst resulting out of threat of loss only presents itself towards the end of the film when it actually gets interesting. Ayan Mukherjee is a self-confessed mega fan of the fantasy genre, both in cinema and literature. One doesn't even have to look closely at Brahmastra to see all the influences all over this work. An orphaned one-year-old whose mother dies at the hands of an enemy who fails to kill the baby, an evil power the baby then continues to feel in his bones his whole life. You know where you've heard that before. There's also a school / secret society to teach young people how to utilize their supernatural gifts, built around the values of an old but strong mentor figure. Hat tips and homages are great, and frankly, I love spotting in a filmmaker's work love for those who came before them. Reverence is pure, it's lovely. But with Brahmastra, it's Ayan Mukherjee doing too much, talking too much, rapidly moving on to the next puzzle before we've had a chance to fully understand, let alone solve the first. I would have liked more space to unpack the metaphor of the scientist and the artist being the protectors, and Zor, Raftar, and Junoon being the bad guys. The lore and myth behind his world is so vast that an introduction to its history is plopped right up front in a fourth wall breaking voiceover by Amitabh Bachchan with the help of animation and Amar Chitrakatha type visuals.
ये कहानी है इन सारे अस्त्रों के देवता की, ब्रह्मास्त्र.
An exposition dump just as you enter a film is never a good sign. Speaking of Amar Chitrakatha, the most perplexing part of watching Brahmastra was the stubbornly stilted dialogue by Hussain Dalal, whose writing is more graphic novel than movie dialogue. Burning Man meets Avengers style stunning visuals are created by a team of cinematographers V. Manikandan, Pankaj Kumar, Sudeep Chatterjee, Vikash Naulakha, Patrick Duro, and what I assume a phalanx of skilled visual artists. These visuals inspire awe and wonder. You're looking at each corner of the frame. Hindi cinema has never done this on such a scale and it is magical. And then you hear, प्यार से खूबसूरत कुछ भी नहीं है दुनिया में. वाह क्या बात है. और तुम जिंदगी से शिकायत नहीं मोहब्बत करते हो शिवा. And you're immediately pulled out of the experience because you've seen enough Coffee with Karan to know none of these people talk like this, and this is pretend. No one actually talks like this. These people are supposed to be regular schmoes thrown into the line of fire. They're not Joker from DC Comics, who probably spends his days thinking of catchphrases and deep double meaning repartees because he's not, quite all there. One line is used over and over again, and it's even in the promotions. Light उस रोशनी का नाम है जो हम सबके अंधेरों से बड़ी है. माने light is the name of that light that is bigger than all our darknesses. Now this is part of a confounding scene where Shiva introduces Isha to his past life and he tells her about being an orphan. The scene talks about light so much I was half expecting Philips in-film branding to show up. What does show up though is an espresso machine in a corner of the attic loft chawl Shiva lives in. Also, this world is Hindu and it is very Hindu. No other religion exists in this wide universe, which wouldn't have been such a glaring issue if the film wasn't as religious as it is. Singing romantic songs, the hero-heroine go to temples and they get elaborate tikas. Their ishq is Kesariya. She organizes religious pandals with her family. He produces the symbol of Om when he's demonstrating his fire skills. Sanskrit chants are omnipresent throughout the film. He is Shiv, she says she's Parvati. Hinduism is in every frame. And by the way, before the film, we were shown the full trailer for Wakanda Forever, a paradigm shift in superhero stories, telling us that this cinema genre has moved on from aliens in New York thwarted by white people in capes. Look, Brahmastra is Ayan Mukherjee trying and his crew trying even harder with everything they've got. No one does the song and dance sequences as well as Ranbir Kapoor. The moves combined with the heroism, using a dance number to further the narrative, giant sets, colors, Pritam's music rising to a crescendo. Brad Pitt, Chris Hemsworth could never. The time and painstaking effort put into the visuals, the action sequences in and of themselves, all these parts are top notch, especially in the second half, even though the film is long. But when Shiva begins to understand, harness and grow his power, the spectacle is unparalleled, it's breathtaking. A beautiful looking Nagarjuna using his powers, another star cameo using theirs. Give me it! But does it need to be so loud? I don't know if it was the theatre deciding we needed the audience to really feel this, or if this was an editorial choice, but Moni Roy's voice under about 100 layers of reverb mixed with Alia's consistent yells of Shiva, the earth's crust crumbling away, fire, rain, all together, Bishwadeep Chatterjee's sound design feels like non-stop monsoon thunder.
हमारा सिर्फ एक मकसद ब्रह्मास्त्र।
If your schedule permits, do go watch the film. Ayan Mukherjee has vision and this is his all-in attempt to translate it. I'm here for part 2 and part 3 and I have some theories to where the story might be headed, which is a spoiler-filled discussion for another time. We'll discuss why they cropped this scene where Shiva jumps into a temple with his shoes on. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, Brahmastra is 1500 words का तो ये review हो गया and I honestly still have more to say. So we'll talk. तब तक you subscribe to my channel and stay with me, okay?